Hello, loves. Welcome to the Live Your Freedom Now podcast. I'm Megan Colleen Johnson, and this podcast is dedicated to discussing dominant cultural narratives and beliefs, what I call dominant dogma, how this keeps you from thriving in life and business, and how to overcome that dogma by living your freedom now. While this path sounds clean and straightforward, the truth is, life and being human is messy. So around here, we value the both and. We'll hold space for where you're at and honor the freedom you'd like to see and feel within yourself. Hit subscribe to stay updated, and for more information about me, my work, and to download my free Claim Your Freedom Now journal guide and ecotherapy meditation, head to megscolleen.com. That's megscolleen.com. Hello, free thinker. Welcome to this episode of the Live Your Freedom Now podcast. As a heads up, you are tuning in during a time, the months of November and December 2022, when I have decided to take a break from writing for the podcast. That said, this episode is a replay of a past episode, so you may hear invitations into programs and freebies that are no longer available on my site. So, in this brief introduction, I wanted to let you know what is available right now. I have two things available on my site for you. The first is a free ecotherapy meditation, and the second is I am accepting one-on-one coaching clients right now. You can access and learn more about these two things at my website, megscolleen.com, and I hope you enjoy this episode replay. As always, freedom is yours. Bigger is better. Scale, grow, and dominate. Hello, creative humans. I am writing from my back porch today. It is the very first day I've been able to work outside since October, and it feels magical. I'm sitting on the roughly textured wood of our back patio. We have an older home, so some of the wood is looking a little worse for wear at the moment, especially after the harsh winter temperatures. But the sun is shining bright on my screen, almost keeping me from writing, but I truly don't mind. The birds are singing, my dog is lying in the sun, and overall, spring is in the air. As I share this moment with you, I encourage you to do the same. Notice where you are, the textures around you, the colors, the sounds, and where the light and shadows meet. Today, we are going to talk about the dominant dogma in business and in life that preaches growth at all costs, scaling exponentially, and ultimately a message of domination. Within the modern world, and specifically within capitalistic and hierarchical systems, we are taught a message of growth and advancement from a young age. From the grades we earn to our popularity ranking, there are benchmarks that determine how successful we are, starting at as young as 2 to 3 years old. And that's a generous starting age assumption. Beyond our childhood and following our education, we are then expected to model ongoing advancement within our workplaces, companies, and personal finances. This ever-growing up into the right mentality is what we are conditioned to expect from society, economy, and from ourselves until we die, burn out, or, for the lucky few, retire. Personally, and within our childhood development, this can be beneficial to encourage healthy ambition, purpose, and a sense of direction. However, as a cultural standard and as an economic standard, there is no or very little access to counter-narratives that help balance out this requirement for consistent advancement. This message of growth and scaling has become a dominant dogma in our world. As a reminder, dominant dogma is a term I coined to encompass all the cultural narratives and beliefs which externally and subsequently internally as adaptive strategies tell you who you're supposed to be, how to do it, and what you need to buy to live that out. I want to talk a little bit about how this shows up in small business. Specifically, for my audience of folks including artists, coaches, writers, and makers, this dominant dogma often shows up as pressure to grow far too quickly, indefinitely, and/or scale when that was never the dream in the first place. This can sound like an internalized dominant dogma saying, I'm not making enough for how long I've been in business. I'm supposed to hire help and delegate by now. Should I hire even though I can't afford it? I've hired my dream team, but it's time to expand. We need more people, more products, just more of everything. So-and-so achieved success far more quickly. Maybe I need to spend more on ads to try and keep up. I still need my freelance work to keep my dream work alive. Am I doing this wrong? I feel kind of ashamed. Yes, I've hit my dream of 30K months, but I have to keep going. 50K, 100K, I am aiming for the millions. These are just a few examples of possible ways this growth narrative may show up in your world. And as with most of the dominant dogma we evaluate here on the podcast, these narratives are not necessarily good or bad, right or wrong. If you consider the narrative of aiming for the millions, women-owned and minority-owned businesses are shown to benefit communities, families, and the planet. So I can only imagine the incredible impact that more million-dollar companies of this sort would have. However, it's when these narratives go unchecked that problems ensue. Scaling too quickly can result in an inability to pay employees well and lead with integrity. Hustling to keep up with growth demands can result in burnout and health difficulties. Successfully scaling and creating exponential growth into the millions can result in playing a part in overconsumption and extraction of others and the planet. The best way I have found to explain the harm this dominant dogma causes and the freedom on the other side is utilizing Kate Raworth's donut economics framework. Kate's website describes the donut as a compass for human prosperity in the 21st century, with the aim of meeting the needs of all people within the means of the living planet. Essentially, this donut showcases the quote-unquote donut hole as lack or shortfall, the donut itself as thriving or the safe and just space for humanity, and then the outer sphere as extraction and overconsumption or overshoot. Within this conversation of small business, I take this to mean that the donut hole is where you are not charging enough, not getting your needs met, and self-extracting. The donut itself is a regenerative business where you can thrive, live sustainably, and engage in reciprocal, consensual relationships with your clientele. And then finally, the outer sphere is overcharging, under-delivering, and extracting from others and the planet. Within Kate's 2018 TED Talk, she summarizes the solution this framework offers, which also summarizes my belief around how you can set yourself free from this dominant dogma and run your business regeneratively. She says, a healthy economy should be designed to thrive, not grow. And that is the freedom, the reframe of sorts that I want to offer in today's conversation. A healthy business is designed to thrive, not grow. So countercultural, I know. Take a breath, let it sit for a minute, and I have a couple of questions for you. For early small business owners, how does this land for you? What does this mean to you? How can you craft your business strategy in such a way that it supports you, your team, if you want one, and the planet? Are your current prices meeting your needs and bringing you into that donut space of thriving? Is your marketing strategy sustainable and drawing in the leads you need to live in that donut space? Do you want to scale your business so you can support others to also live in that thriving donut space? What would that look like and feel like if you carried that out in a regenerative and sustainable way? For folks in workplaces not owned by you, how does this land for you? What does this reframe offer for you? How can you live your life in a way that supports you, your family, if applicable, and the planet? Is your job meeting your needs and bringing you into that donut space of thriving? Is your job sustainable for you? Do you desire to advance in your role so you can lead others and impact change in your workplace and community? What would that look like and feel like if you carried that out in a regenerative and sustainable way? These questions don't necessarily have a right or wrong answer, and I'm not even saying that my perspective on this is right for you. This is an invitation to explore beyond the dominant dogma of advancement, scaling, and indefinite growth, so together we can find a more sustainable and regenerative path forward, so that together we can live our freedom now. As we close today's episode, I'm so excited to let you know that on April 1st, my 6-month Creative Business Accelerator on my terms opens for enrollment. This space is for you if you are ready to hand back the dominant dogma that has seized control of your business, to reclaim your vision and run your business on your terms. You started your business to thrive, to experience more fulfillment, and to live free. I'm here to help you do that. This is the 2nd year I have run this program, and to share a little bit about the impact it holds, I have a brief commercial of sorts from one of last year's program attendees.
When I began this program with Meg, I was jumping from offer to offer, and I felt really scattered in my creative skill set and in the business I was trying to build. And I felt really overloaded and clouded with business advice and the pressure to make a lot of money. Through the 6 months with Meg, I was really supported to clear a lot of the energetic spaces I was putting myself in. And I could remind myself and clear the fear around being a creative first. And so by removing myself from a lot of business spaces, I was actually able to arrive at the creative space I wanted to be building my business from, and I wanted to be working in. Through that, I was really able to remember my zone of genius and that my business was best led from me and nobody else, that only I know where I want to go and how I want to feel getting there and the life I want to be leading as I get there. And so Meg's support during this time was so grounding and so full of acceptance. I felt more focused on creating really strong and flexible roots for my dreams while I was in Meg's presence and while I was being coached by her. By the end of 6 months, I was actually beginning to see a lot of traction and consistent money in a book I had written years ago and kind of gave up on talking about. And I was also supported to launch new offers and a brand new offering that was just so what I wanted it to be. And it felt really centered and it felt very clean to me. And it felt like the essence of my business. And as I left that space, I was able to hold on to that and continue to look at the offers that I really want to be doing, not because it's going to make me a lot of money, but because it's in my zone of genius and in my dreams. And so Meg is really who you want in your support circle if you're looking to feel really secure in your foundations that are going to hold your dreams and hold your business.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining me. And I will see you right back here next week. Freedom is yours. Thank you for joining me for another Live Your Freedom Now podcast episode. If you enjoyed this episode, I'm always so grateful for a 5-star rating, and you can learn more about me, my work, and download my free Claim Your Freedom Now journal guide and ecotherapy meditation at megscolleen.com. That's MEGSCOLLEEN.com. I'll see you next time, and as always, freedom is yours.